I'm Steve Wilkerson, and I'm with Jim Saunders, Executive Editor of the News Service of Florida. Jim, one of the fastest moving pieces of legislation, judging from this fall's activity, will be legislation to make it legal to carry guns on campus for students who have concealed carry permits in this state. Similar legislation passed last year, did not pass last year, but it looks like it might have some momentum this year. What's up?
Well, it was one of the first bills filed in both the House and the Senate for the 2016 session, and the legislature starts committee meetings this week. And on the first full day of committee meetings, it's up on the first morning in both the House and the Senate in committees. So I think there's some definite interest in this issue, and it's also very controversial. So it's probably something we're going to be hearing about at a high level for the next 5 or 6 months as they go into the full session starting in January. This is a very controversial issue. It died in the Senate last year. It didn't kind of just sort of got stalled in a Senate committee. But the NRA made it clear immediately they were going to bring this Marion Hammer, their lobbyist, said immediately that she wanted to bring this bill back for the 2016 session. And it looks like they're going to move on it pretty fast.
The president of Florida State University here in the capital city, John Thrasher, very powerful former Speaker of the House, really is opposed to this, and he's made it very clear that he's opposed to it, and a lot of people credit him with his opposition in stopping that bill last year. What do you think the impact of that will be this year?
Well, actually, President Thrasher, former Senator Thrasher, has already reiterated that he opposes allowing people to carry guns on college campuses. So he's already reiterated it going into the 2016 session. He is, very well respected in the legislature, particularly in the Senate. He has a lot of loyal people over there. So I think never discount his influence in this issue. The other thing that happened about a year ago at Florida State, or not quite a year ago, was a shooting at the library there. And that was right when former Senator Thrasher became president. It was within, if I recall correctly, a week or two of when he became president. So it was a real live issue there of whether, what the effect of people having guns on campus. The supporters of this proposal say, if people in the library had been armed, they may have been able to defend themselves better against this gunman who was not a student. He was a graduate who was having some mental problems essentially and came back to campus, started shooting up the library. But that was a real live issue leading into the 2015 session about that sort of highlighted this whole debate.
Jim, I can understand that argument. I can. And there are people, though, who are parents like myself and my wife. We have a child in a public university in Florida. And, the idea of having students at colleges carrying weapons, even though they have concealed carry permits, that age doesn't necessarily make me feel in that environment very good about a bunch of kids having guns. And I'm a supporter of gun laws that allow people to carry guns and so forth. I think there is some nervousness about this, even among supporters of the Second Amendment.
Well, the opponents of the bill, one of the main arguments they have made is that, as you alluded to, that even if they're 21 years old, they're probably not fully mature, but also the influence of alcohol on campus. That's a big part of this debate from the opponent side, that there is a lot of alcohol use, and quite often it gets out of hand, and that the students who are using the alcohol are not mature, and accidents can happen. So that is one of the main arguments against the bills. So I think another factor to really watch this year, though, is that it's an election year, and I don't think can ever discount the power of the NRA when it comes to motivating Republican voters, and as an extension, motivating Republican lawmakers to do things. So, that's a sort of, to me, an X factor that we didn't see during the 2015 session when it wasn't an election year. 2015, the bill looked like it was going to pass the House. I don't think it actually did in the end, but basically it just got stalled in a Senate committee, and the Senate Judiciary Committee, and the chairman of that committee said, he had sort of polled his members and didn't see the support for it. But the dynamics in an election year, things can change in an election year. So it's going to be a very emotional and controversial debate again.
And then there is a dynamo on the NRA team, been there for many, many years. Her name is Marion Hammer. And she's not any lobbyist. She is a unique voice advocating on behalf of the NRA, has been the national president of the NRA. She knows virtually everyone in the legislature of both parties, and she is relentless and believes in gun ownership and is advocating this. So she is a power on this.
Well, she is, in terms of lobbyists who work for organizations and certain issues, I mean, I don't think there's, I have a hard time thinking of an individual lobbyist who works for an organization who has more clout and influence in the legislature. I mean, there may be some I'm not thinking of, because there's lobbyists who represent literally dozens of clients, but she is very focused on her issues. She believes strongly in them. And as I said, she said right after the 2015 session that this bill was coming back. And it was filed early, it's being heard early, and it's going to have 3 or 4 committees in each of the House and Senate to make its way through. And that's a tough, an issue like this, that's tough. But again, don't ever discount her, or don't think she knows how to influence the legislators, particularly Republican legislators, to come around on issues like this.